All right, now I've got my telescope all set up and it's time to align the telescope, which is a fun thing. And after it's aligned, then we can actually start to do some viewing. Probably not in this room, but wherever you're going to set up the telescope. A few things to do. There is a way to align it with the hand controller, which I'll show you. And then there's also a way to do it with the app on your phone. So we're going to turn on the telescope. It's important to do that. And so we're going to take off this little piece of tape here and switch the telescope on. The power light should come on, and this Wi-Fi signal thing should be flashing as well. In order to do the alignment, you're going to want to make sure you take off the cover over here, otherwise you're not going to be able to see very much. And then you're going to want to also make sure that you have your star finder scope that's going to be on the side of the telescope over here. Let's see. Make sure that that star finder is right there so that you can actually look at some stars. So I'll show you how to do this. And first of all, let's connect our phone to the telescope. So what we're going to want to do, first of all, my thing that I like to do is I like to actually go in and I like to turn off my mobile data because that just seems to mess with the connection process right there. So I'm going to turn off my mobile data, not really going into airplane mode, but just on mobile data. Of course, you probably don't have an Android and your phone's going to look differently. And then I'm going to look at my Wi-Fi right over here, and it's looking for some more Wi-Fi networks. And you can see there's my Celestron telescope Wi-Fi signal right there, no internet access. So I'm going to just click on that one to connect to it. Sometimes it's been, I saw some discussions online that said this telescope has trouble connecting when there's lots and lots of Wi-Fi signals around. So if you've got too many Wi-Fi signals around, it might just be the case you'll have to use the hand controller. So once I've connected to the telescope, I'm going to want to go into the app, and the app is called Sky Portal. There's my Sky Portal app, which is going to open up, which is good. Right away, it came up with this connect and align thing, or connect. So there's other features of this. There's a settings box, and there's an information box and other things as well. And if you want to click on the one that says scope, that's where you're going to get to this connect and align. So I just tap on scope right there. So you can connect or you can connect and align. I'm going to do connect and align right now. And then I'll show you some of the other features as well. I'm not really going to be able to align this because I need to be outside at night looking up at the sky and picking out some stars in order to align it. So if I hit connect and align, we're just going to wait right there. And it's trying to connect to the scope. And there it is. So that was successful. Now here's the cool thing about this telescope. What we need to do is we need to find 3 stars in the sky. Any stars. You don't even have to know what the stars are. You just need to find 3 stars in the sky and point the telescope at them and then click align, and the telescope will take care of everything. So you're going to want it to be dark enough so you can find 3 stars in the sky. It's helpful if they're in sort of various different spots in the sky, and then you want to align the telescope with that star and then hit align right there. So you can see right here it says use the on-screen buttons to move the scope's finder to a bright star and tap enter. So you can, this is the cool thing here, is these finder things right here. So you can see I'm moving the telescope with these buttons right here. Good, and I can move it side to side with these buttons. And what I want to do is I want to align the telescope with a particular star in the sky. So how do we do that? Well, another way, if I'm looking for a star that's not immediately close to this spot, is I can always rotate a little bit here, and I can always unscrew this one and rotate a little bit and make sure I screw it back if I'm looking for a star. So there's a star over there that I want to align to, and that's pretty good. And then I can use the buttons on my app and get it kind of closer. What I'm going to start out doing is I'm going to start out by looking in this little finder scope over here. So I've got my finder scope. I'm going to want to turn it on. So the on button is on the side here. It's going to click. And then there's going to be a little red light in the middle of the finder scope right there. I want to line up, and this I think allows you to adjust the brightness of that little red light if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, sorry. This allows me to go back and forth a little bit. So I'm going to want to align this finder scope with that star. If I try to find that star in the eyepiece right here, it's going to be really hard to align with it exactly. So I'm just going to be looking through here, going a little bit this way, a little bit this way, a little bit this way, a little bit that way, until I've aligned it pretty well in that finder scope, and then that's going to be good. And then I can actually come back over here and I can hit enter. So let's say I found that star in the sky. I hit enter. Now it actually asks me for a second step. It says use the on-screen buttons to center the bright star in the eyepiece and tap align. So now I'm going to want to be looking through the eyepiece over here. So I'm looking through the eyepiece, I'm noticing that star is not actually in the center right there. I really want to get it centered right in the middle. So now when I'm pushing on these buttons to align, it's not moving very fast at all, but it is moving a little bit, moving just ever so slightly, and that's going to be enough so that you're going to be able to center that star right in. So you're looking through, and you're just adjusting it teeny little bit, and getting it nice as centered as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, right in the center of the eyepiece. And then I come back over and I hit align, and that's pretty good. And, oh, it didn't do it. So let's do enter, and then we'll do align. Oh, I did two. So now I did, oh, sorry, went back to the first step. So that was my second star. I aligned, I should have done it again. And you have to do this 3 times. So this would be my third time. Now it's going back to sort of more bigger movements on the telescope. So I want to find another star in the sky somewhere else. It doesn't really matter where it is. And you don't even have to know the name of the star, whatever it is. Align it sort of more or less right now using the finder. So it says using the scopes finder. And then we hit enter. And now it says use these buttons to align it in the view of the eyepiece. So I'm using those buttons to align it in the view of the eyepiece. And then I click align. And then now it says alignment failed because we can't do it because we're not outside and it just didn't work. So, but hopefully that'll actually let you align, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to hit cancel right here. And I want to show you a couple of the other features of the app. And then I want to show you how to do it with a handheld device as well. So inside the app here, once you're connected and aligned, it's pretty cool. So you can go to some controls, if you will. Hopefully it's going to, I'm just going to hit connect. I think that'll allow me to connect to the telescope without aligning it. Okay, cool. So I'm connected, and so without aligning it, I can still control which way the telescope's going by hitting these buttons right here. And some of the other features that are cool, what's nice is you can center on an object. So if I click on a star over here, let's say Polaris, if I get Polaris, and I can click on center, and that brings it up into the middle of the screen right there, which is pretty good. And I can look around in the sky, and I can look to find something that I might want to look at. So let's say I wanted to look at Uranus right there, and then I could go to right there. So there's a little bit of thing that says go to, and then the telescope is going to find Uranus in the sky. And I'm going to hit stop because it's not going to find Uranus now because I didn't align it, but it would if I had aligned the telescope properly. So that's pretty cool. So I can just zip around in the app here, and I can just find whatever it is that I want to find, and I can click on it and tap it, and then I can hit go to, and it should go right there. As well, if you click the search button over here, it brings up a nice menu, and there's lots of different things you can do on the search button. I like to go to tonight's best. So if I hit tonight's best, then you can see what's up in the sky, and well, that's pretty exciting. Andromeda Galaxy. So if I hit that, and then down here it's go to as well. So I could go to, and it would find it. I'm going to hit stop right now so that it doesn't actually do it. And you'll find the scope will find it, and it'll go really fast, and then it'll sort of slow down. And it should work pretty well. You should be able to look into the eyepiece and see what it is that you're looking for. Sometimes you need to make some adjustments. So if you need to make some adjustments, you can go ahead and tap on these little buttons right here, and it'll adjust it just a little bit, and that's fine. And there's actually ways that you can speed up and slow down how fast the telescope moves around when you do that. So you can take a look for that in the app, so that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect right now so that I can show you how to do things in the with the handheld device instead. So, play around with this. You can go into the settings. Oh, one thing I want to show you is you should probably turn this into night mode, and that makes it red. The red light won't affect your night vision. So what you definitely don't want to do is while you're in the middle of a viewing session, you don't want to start checking your text messages on your phone and have your bright phone screen ruin your dark vision in your eyes. So you just want to make sure that everything's nice and dim. Don't use a flashlight. Don't use your phone's flashlight. If you have to use some kind of flashlight, there's this red flashlight included with all this stuff here, so make sure you're doing that. Okay, so there's my kids. Let's go and use the handheld device. So the handheld device is, let's get this a little bit closer. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the things on the screen there. So I just turned the telescope on, and it says press enter to begin aligning. So I'll press enter, and it's going to ask me to select my alignment method. So do I want to use sky align? And then it's a little confusing. These buttons right here actually don't take you through the menus. So if I'm pushing these buttons and you're getting frustrated, that's not it. It's actually these buttons over here where it says scroll up and scroll down. So when I hit these buttons, it takes me through the menu. So I can use Skyline, I can use Auto 2-Star, I can do 1 star align and solar system align, and I can put in some values for the latitude and longitude and things like this. So I'm going to want to hit sky align, and I'm going to want to hit enter. It's going to ask me for what the time is, so you're going to want to make sure that you set the time right there. So that's not the right time, but you can enter in the time, whatever it is you want to put in for the time, just like that. And then you can hit enter. And oops, let's see. And hold on, do I hit enter? So I can scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. And there we go. Now it's 99999. Oh, that wasn't working very well. Let's try this again. Can I go back here? Oh, see, I haven't used this thing very well, so let's see what happens when I hit enter. Hours, minutes. Let's say I do 12 hours and 52 minutes and 36 seconds, and I hit enter. Yeah, so it was just waiting for me to put in a time that made sense, and when I put in 9999999, it didn't really work. And now it says select one AM or PM, so once again you have to hit the scroll button to select AM or PM. You're probably going to be in the PM. Hit enter. Select one standard time or daylight time, so I'm going to hit standard time, and then I want to put in the date. This says 11/11/19, so put in your date in there, and then you're good. And then it says use the following screens to select 3 bright stars. So we're going to use, and then we're going to press enter to continue. So we're going to basically do the same thing we did with the app. It's just we're going to find 3 bright stars with this. So we're going to press enter to begin. And it says use directional buttons to center object in the finder scope. Well, it seems pretty similar. There we go. There's my directional buttons. So I'm going to center an object in the finder scope. That's the small little thing on the side over here. Then I'm going to hit enter. And now it says use directional buttons to center object in the eyepiece. So now when I'm pushing these buttons here, it doesn't seem like it's moving, but it is really moving. So I want to center it in the eyepiece just like that, and I hit enter. And then use the center object in the, oh, okay, it didn't really work. So there we go. Use directional buttons to center object in, and then I think it's going to say something, center in the object eyepiece, and then it says press, so press align when finished. I didn't listen for the whole directions. All right, so press align when finished, boom, align. Now it says object 2, so I do the same thing for object 2, and I do the same thing for object 3, and that's going to be good. And then you're done with the alignment procedures, and then we can do the same thing here. We've got some menus here that you can look into, so you can look at solar system, stars, things like this, and you can choose what it is that you want to actually go to, and you can hit enter, or maybe, I think, enter once you actually figure it. Once you get it all aligned and you figure out what it is you want to go to, then you can hit enter on here. So this still works. It's still got a database of stars and objects inside of here, and you can also do planets inside of here as well. So if your phone app doesn't work, you can always use this one. All right, great. Hopefully that's helpful. Good luck, and hopefully the skies are clear.